Hey, what's going on, Browns fans? Welcome in. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue. It is a Saturday afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. And we've got updates on the John Harbaugh sweepstakes, let's say. The Cleveland Browns are in this thing. Hit that subscribe button because we've got updates every day, it feels like. New news, new rumors on what the Browns are doing, who they're interviewing. They've got a head coach opening. So do 7 other teams in the National Football League. So who's going to land the hottest candidate? Stay tuned because I've got you covered with Browns news every single day. All right, we've got a new report here from Dianna Russini, all right, and she says that the Cleveland Browns, you can confirmed add them to the list of teams that have reached out to John Harbaugh to schedule an interview. Hallelujah. Haslam, Barry, whoever did it, you did something that we didn't question as fans, all right? It's a no-brainer. If I had got the report that Cleveland hadn't reached out, I would have probably reached out myself. I would have crashed out on the show. You name it. We got to turn the ship around, man. Harbaugh can save us. He's a guy who has been in winning cultures, playoff success, AFC North titles, AFC championship title appearances, folks. By the way, he won the Super Bowl with our old friend Joe Flacco back in the day. That was the conversation back then, right? Is Joe Flacco elite? I'll tell you what, John Harbaugh is elite. And so, as of now, Cleveland does not have any interviews scheduled. Harbaugh's expected to begin interviews with teams next week, and Cleveland, I think, is in that mix. They've called, they're doing their research, they're doing their due diligence, and quite frankly, this is going to turn into John Harbaugh interviewing teams rather than teams interviewing him. And he probably is overqualified for the Cleveland Browns job. But here's the case. Here's the pitch. Here's why I think he is seriously in the running to coach the Browns. His entire family grew up Browns fans on his mom's side. Harbaugh has said he grew up a Browns fan. And so he's getting older. I mean, he has been battling 18 years as the coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Is it time to do something that you're passionate about? As this could be his last coaching stint. Well, why not come to Cleveland? Why not be the one who turns around this franchise, the one that has yet to win a Super Bowl, yet to see a Super Bowl appearance? For crying out loud, we won all those championships back in the day. The minute they invent the Super Bowl, Cleveland's nowhere to be found. John Harbaugh, I think, could take us closer to there than we've been in a long time. It's a no-brainer. Write him a check. Haslam, whatever it takes. Do it. You want to take big swings like you did on Deshaun Watson? Well, how about you hit on a swing and you take John Harbaugh and get him in here to change his franchise? Turn it around. You got to think about the other thing with Cleveland. We are a young team that has pieces. You know, people underestimate who the Cleveland Browns are and what their identity is. They have a top 5 defense. We have the best player in the entire league. He's a defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. There's no question about that. We have the defensive rookie of the year, Carson Swessinger. Harold Fannin Jr. will knock your socks off. Judkins is a stud. We have young talent in Cleveland for years. It's not a bad roster. It's not as bad a situation as these other analysts are trying to make it seem. You need offensive linemen desperately. And you have to promise Harbaugh that that'll be the case. But there's some other developments in the Harbaugh case, all right? Rumors say he may want his own general manager. Is Andrew Berry going to be keen on interviewing a guy that wants to kick him out? Well, that's why this is all a Haslam decision. And Tony Grossi, who, I get it, I hesitate to use him as a source, but he revealed what John Harbaugh's requirements would be to be a head coach. And it's $20 million a year, a $10 million staff budget, total authority over the roster, and would like to select his own GM. Do it. Do it. I don't care what the demands are. We're a mess. We need them. The money shouldn't be an issue for Jimmy Haslam, okay? Let's chalk both those off. You get your salary, you get your budget. I actually think it's a good thing for him to bring his own guys. Now, could you convince him to keep Jim Schwartz? Because even Adam Schefter admits it is essential for Cleveland to retain Jim Schwartz. What he has done with our defense, the way it was a top 5 defense, top 4 in total defense, the way it was top 3 in passing defense in 2025, you're not going to give that up. But Harbaugh knows that, all right? He faced Jim Schwartz twice a year, multiple years in a row. Jim Schwartz is a talented guy who has experience in this league. What this is about is John Harbaugh bringing his own assistant, his own offensive guy. And I say, what's the holdup? A lot of people view Tommy Rees in the league, according to Mary Kay, who I also hesitate to use as a source, but she says that Browns view him as a young offensive mind genius, all right? And Tommy Rees, he interviewed with Penn State this year. He interviewed with UNC last year. Like, there's college teams pursuing him. No doubt about that. But guess what? He took over play calling this midseason this year, week 10, I believe, and we lost to the Jets. All right? It didn't change. It didn't look different. And Kevin Stefanski was still here, right? It did kind of look like Stefanski's offense because he has the final say over everything Tommy Rees did. So I'm not out on Rees for half a year. I am curious about his ability. But if John Harbaugh says, I want my offensive coordinator, I don't want Rees here, I don't want Berry here. We'll touch on GM Berry in a bit. I'm sorry, Tommy. I'd rather Harbaugh bring his guy, Todd Monken, who it seems like is his guy. The report on why Harbaugh and the Ravens split is that John wouldn't even entertain a conversation about parting ways with Todd Monken. I will also mention that the Cleveland Browns are the only team to publicly say we will interview Todd Monken for the head coach job. Chess, not checkers, ladies and gentlemen. Because other teams aren't even giving Monken a look. Cleveland, they are saying, we believe in Monken, and if you love him, Harbaugh, come on over, bring your friend. It's a dream scenario. Now, this last part of the requirements, however, let's touch on that. But once again, reminder, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, please. We are so close to 69,000 subscribers. That's right. Who's going to be number 2? Just hit the sub button. Got daily updates for you on the Cleveland Browns. And listen, I'm on my off day right now, but I love talking about this. I want to know what Cleveland's going to do. I'm invested. I'm going to get on here and deliver the news whenever I get a report. And today's latest is from Dianna Russini that the Browns have reached out to John Harbaugh, and that is just phenomenal. Hit the sub button so you don't miss out. Would you give up Andrew Berry to get John Harbaugh? Yes. I'm sorry. I do respect Andrew Berry and the draft class that he brought in 2025. But Berry and Stefanski together, they're hired at the same time. They were extended at the same time. They are both responsible for the roster holes that we were in. And roster holes, that's Andrew Berry more than anybody. Now, I do think Jimmy Haslam was the biggest proponent in trading for Deshaun Watson and paying him all that guaranteed money. I get it. It's an owner issue. But you know what? I can't make a video that says fire Jimmy Haslam. It doesn't work that way. He's got all the money. It's FU money. The only way we get rid of Jimmy is if he sells the team. And guess who that's up to? Jimmy. So unfortunately, the blame then trickles down to the guys that Jimmy Haslam hired, and that's Andrew Berry. The draft classes before 25, well, they were not much to write home about. And again, there were multiple years Cleveland didn't have a first-round pick. Thanks a lot, Haslam. So Berry, he kind of gets that up and down, almost the same way that some would make excuses for Stefanski. Well, you could make those for Andrew Berry. But the other fact of the matter is, well, he neglected our biggest positions of need last year. Why am I on here every video saying that we need offensive linemen and wide receivers? Because we didn't draft any last year, folks. And you knew O-line was a problem going into the year. So where's the excuse that you cut for Andrew Berry for that? He's being given one more year at the moment to smash it again in this year's draft class. This is his most crucial first-round picks of his career to hit on these two that Cleveland has. That's if we get to that point. You tell me in the comments section, would you fire Andrew Berry for John Harbaugh? Why for yes and for no? Comment down below. I just think you're a team with a head coach opening. A candidate like a John Harbaugh is once in a blue moon. You don't miss out. You take this swing. And if this swing misses, I'll get on here and I'll eat that. But this is a swing you take. Deshaun Watson, when there's 30 women accusing him of different allegations, that's not a swing you needed to take. John Harbaugh, who everybody raves about, who's dominated your division, who grew up a Browns fan, who could flip this script. We could start dominating the Ravens. We could start being the division champions. What does that sound like to you, Browns fans? Does that sound like what you want? That's what I want. So I'm all in. Whatever he wants, you give it to him. It's my take on the matter. You let me know in the comment section what yours are, Browns fans, and I will keep you posted every single day as new developments shake out. I appreciate you all so much for tuning into this edition of the show with me. I had to get on here when I saw that it's confirmed we've talked to Harbaugh, and we're planning to schedule an interview, hopefully next week when he starts those interviews. I think it's the Giants, the Titans, the Falcons, and the Browns. And I might even lose the Titans of that. I would really tell you guys the Browns are in this mix. I wouldn't predict he's a Brown, but I'd say we have a chance right now, and I would love to just not mess it up. So thank you guys so much. I will see you next time here on the Browns Report. Be good, and we'll talk soon. Go Browns.